Yo, grace and peace, guys. Welcome to another episode of All Things Theology, where I'm your host, Kdub. Tonight, we have a special episode, one that I'm very excited about, so I hope that you are equally excited as I am. But before we get into it, you know how we do it here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and as always, click the notification bell. Share this out, guys. This is one of those episodes that you're just going to want to continue to play back. You're going to want to know the information that is going to be taught to you tonight. I'm going to bring in my guest tonight. I have a special guest who's going to teach us about the Logos Bible software. And so with that said, Chauncey, man, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Blessed to have you here. Like I said, I'm excited. I know we were talking before. I was like, man, this is going to be good for my audience. But hey, I mean, if it was just me and you, I'd loving it. You know what I mean? So why don't you introduce the people? Tell them about yourself.
Yeah, great, man. One, thank you for having me on, man. Really appreciate it. As you mentioned, my name is Chauncey Ullman. I'm what's called a national presenter at Faith Life. And basically what that means is that I'm one of the guys, like if you ever go to a Christian conference and Logos does a presentation on stage, that's what I do, me and a couple of other guys on the team. But then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, conferences shut down.
Right.
And then, we had to go about it a different way. And so we started doing webinars and I love it either way, man. I always tell people I have the best job on the planet. I mean, and why I'd say that is I have the opportunity to showcase Logos to people who love studying the Bible. It's not like I'm trying to trick someone into getting something that they, don't need or that they don't want. Once you see it, it's like, oh yeah, I got to have that. So that's why I say it's the best job in the world, man. Spreading the word of God. And it's my job, and it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, man, that's good. So like I said, I hope these resources that will be provided today will be helpful for people that, at the end, maybe they'll be like, man, maybe I need to purchase Logos for my own personal study, my own personal devotion. And so with that said, we can just jump right into it and just tell people why someone would be interested in getting, Logos. So, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the main reasons is that, as you know, and we're not about, providing resources that substitute for the word of God. That's the opposite of what we're doing. What we're saying is everything is rooted in the word, and Logos is a program that helps you, for lack of a better words, get into the word even better and more efficiently and save time while you do it at the same time. Right now, I think we're up to like 5 million people around the world that are using Logos. A lot of, I'd be surprised if our pastors right now aren't using Logos, across the country. People are writing books from using Logos, the blogs and podcasts and, events like this one, your YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel, man, it's something that if you're serious about studying the word of God, it's something you definitely want to take a look at.
Absolutely. So let's get into it, man. Like the floor is yours to present this. And so I'm excited and I'm going to let you kick it off.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. Absolutely. And I'm going to walk you through, just some of the basics of what Logos can do. And again, any questions that you guys may have, feel free to stop me. I want this to be, as interactive as possible. And so are you able to see it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can see it.
All right, cool. Yep. All right. So first of all, we're talking about Logos 9. All right. Logos 9 came out last October, so just over a year ago. So anything that I do, for those of you who already have Logos and something looks a little different, like you have a previous version, it's probably because I'm using 9, but I'll do my best to point out features that are new to 9 so that you feel like you're kind of missing out on something, but I'll let you know. So when you first open up Logos, this is what you see. This is what we call the home page, right? And so the home page has basically 2 sections. It has a dashboard that you see up here at the top. And when you first get Logos, your dashboard is going to be blank, right? That's like a quick hits list, the things you want to get to quickly, right? Yeah. And then you have the explore section, which is down at the bottom, and that's full of like videos and articles and a bunch of theological stuff, and that changes every day, right? And so we always say, look, log on to Logos every day. You're going to get a fresh set of content. If you just want to start your day off and reading interesting stuff about the word. Okay. So now what I want to show you though is how you can use logos, and I'm going to pack a whole bunch in this next hour, man. I warned you already,
Yeah,
right? So I'm going to pack
absolutely.
a whole bunch in, right? So I want to take it from the standpoint of, let's say we want to study a particular passage or topic, and you want to say, okay, well, how can I do that in logos? So up here in the top, you have this little box up here, and this little box we basically call it the go box, right? And this is where you can type in that topic or that passage, and you'll see some stuff pull up. So what I want to kind of showcase today is going to be coming from the book of Job. And so all I did was type in JOB1, and I haven't clicked anything yet. And so what it's giving me is a bunch of different options. So it's saying, okay, you want to study Job. How do you want to study Job? It's basically what Logos is asking.
Right.
The top one says, open up a passage study layout. That is the one we're going to look at. But and so I'll save that for the next few minutes. But underneath that, it gives other tools in which to study Job. One of the tools is called a Factbook, and we jokingly at Faith Life call Factbook kind of like the Christian Google, right? Because we don't want anybody going to Google for their theological information, right?
Yeah.
If you want to find out, what was the score of the game last night, and you want to get directions or find out information about movies, hey, go to Google, knock yourself out.
Right.
But when you want to get some theological information, you can't trust it, you don't know where it's coming from. So what we've come up with is called the Factbook, and it basically gives you all of that theological information based on what you're studying. You'll see a lot of that tonight as well.
That's good.
The next thing is asking you is, do you want to go to Job in your preferred Bible? Okay. So you go to your preferred Bible, which means you tell Logos when you first set it up, what's your preferred Bible? Are you an ESV person? Are you a CSB? Are you King? Whatever your version is, you tell Logos that in the beginning, and then all of the subsequent searches that you do, it's going to start with that preferred Bible first, right? So that's what that is. Reading, it says start reading aloud. So it'll actually read the text to you. I mean, I do that often, man. You just sit there, sometimes you just want to listen and read the word or read along with it, right? And then you can do some other searches, all right? So all of that from just typing in JOB1 and all that pulled up. So what I'm going to do is click that passage study layout. All right. So here we go. This is the passage study layout. This is by default out of the box. I haven't customized anything on this yet. You can do that, but this is just out of the box. So your topic or your passage, and then you go to the passage guide layout. So up here in the top, in the middle, where you kind of see me moving my cursor around,
right.
My preferred Bible is a CSB, but I also have second to that, I have the ESV, and then third to that, I have the New American Standard. So not only can you tell it your number one Bible, but you can also add subsequent ones as well. So it's going to go to those first. Yeah. Now, the cool thing about this is you can actually link these Bibles together. So you see this A right here by the New American Standard. You see an A by the ESV. You see an A by the CSB. What that means is because they're all linked together under the A category, if you will, not to get too deep in that, but that means whatever you do in one, it's going to automatically show up in the other. So if I want to study a passage and see how the ESV handles that text, all I have to do is click that button or that tab. And now the ESV, I want to see how the New American Standard handles it. There you go. All right. So that's the first thing, again, because all of this starts with the word, right? So we don't want, and it's just kind of an opinion. You don't necessarily want to go to a commentary first, right? You want to go to the word first, see what the word says, and then maybe look at some other resources. So that's what's in the top. Now, at the bottom, speaking of resources, the Bible Knowledge Commentary is the commentary that I chose as my preferred one. Again, you can pick whichever one you may have, or whoever owns Logos, and you can have multiple ones as well. But you notice I'll link that with A as well. So what that means is, as I'm scrolling through, I'm reading the Bible, right? And I'm scrolling. You look down at the bottom, my commentary is scrolling right along with me. So everything all stays in sync. Right, so that's that. You can add again multiple commentaries if you want. So let's dive into this text just a little bit, if it's all right. Let's say we're reading Job, right? And I'm in Job 1:1, like starting at the beginning, right? So there was a man in the country of Uz named Job. Now I'm gonna stop right there. Now, if we honest, if I said, I'm not going to ask you, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if I said, man, can you go to a globe and find us for me right now? You might be like, I don't know. If it was LA or San
Right.
Francisco or
Right.
Miami, I could go to it, right?
Right.
So why do I point that out? There's some words that are underlined here in this biblical text. And what that means is that I have this feature called the Factbook visual filter turned on. Remember, I talked about the Factbook, kind of like the Christian Google, if you will. And so if a word is underlined, all I have to do is click it, look over at the left, and what it does is open up the fact book for me. Okay. So it even pronounces it for you, right? So
Okay.
that's good.
There
You
we
get to
go.
some of those Old Testament names, and you're there scratching your head, like, how do I pronounce that? So it's
Right.
there. So it tells the homeland of Job. I'm just going to kind of walk through what the fact book gives you, right? So it first starts off with a key article or key reference material, the Lexham Bible Dictionary. I can click that. It's going to give me some definitions, gives me biblical relevance, possible locations, maps, right? Now, I'm horrible at geography,
Right.
horrible. So I use logos a lot when I need to learn some geography, right?
Right.
So it has media, it has key passages. So here are key passages throughout the Bible in which it refers to this geographical place us. So you see it's in Genesis 10:23, 36:28, Job 1:1, which is what we're in right now. Then we also have Jeremiah 25:19, Lamentations 4:20, and so on. So you get specific instances of this particular location. Now you also have referred to as. You see Hebrew here. So it's saying whenever this word is referred to as ground, earth, territory, or country, it's
Eretz,
that Hebrew word. If it's referring to us as a place,
Oats,
it's that word. So now, and I'm going to save that for, we're going to come back to the Greek and Hebrew in a minute. But I just want to show you all of this that pulls up right here. So now we have specific events in the Bible. So it's going to give us a timeline of activity or specific events in the Bible in which us is a focal point. So then we have dictionaries, because when you get logos, man, you get not just one commentary, not just one Bible, not just one dictionary, but you get a plethora of resources, and the amount of resources that you get that kind of depend on which version of logos you purchase, right? So if you get one of the ones, kind of the starter ones, if you will, you may get one or two commentaries or one or two dictionaries, all the way up to, let's say, portfolio, which is one for someone getting a doctorate in theology, let's say. Obviously, you're going to get a whole lot more resources than that. Okay.
Right.
So you get all of those. Theological journals. You can go to a bookstore if you want to buy more information about us, different topics, other topic guides, workflows. We'll talk about that in a minute, further reading, and so on. So all of this, man, going back to the text, all of this was from me going to Job 1:1. I see a word rather that was underlined. I didn't know what that word was. I click it, and then I get all of that information.
Wow.
Right. So that's just from the jump how you can get more information. Now I'm going to read through here, and let's say when I get to verse 4, it says his sons used to take turns having banquets at their homes. I'm going to pause at the word banquets here. Now, we obviously know what a banquet is, but let's say it was a word that we didn't know. Now, what are we doing right now? Again, if we're honest, we're probably going to Google, or we're probably going to dictionary.com or Merriam-Webster's. We're trying to find out what this word means. But I'm gonna show you some high-tech computer skills really quick. I'm talking like some MIT level stuff. If you're ready for it, I don't know if you can handle it.
Let's do it.
Of how I can find the definition of the word banquet. I'm going to take my cursor. Here's a high-tech computer whiz stuff. I'm going to rest my cursor on the word banquet. That's all I did. Look on the right-hand side.
Yep.
What Logos just did, that was deep. All you just rest your cursor on the word. Now, what Logos just did was opened up all of my Bible dictionaries, all of my encyclopedias, all my lexicons, anything in Logos that I have, it automatically opened it up to that word, to the word banquet, and it's giving me information about it. So if I pop over here, it says first one, a lavish ceremonial meal, usually held in honor of some notable event or person, also a symbol of the feast to be given by Christ, and so on. So you get definitions, right? We get translations.
I like that
so,
part. I
Yeah,
like that. It
yeah.
shows the different translations and which one to use. Then I like that.
Exactly. And then to find out what it says, all you do is rest your cursor on it, and it pops up right there.
Mm,
Is all you have to do, right? And if you wanted to do a text comparison, I'm going to click the word text comparison, the phrase, and look over here on the left hand side. It takes Job 1:4, in which it includes that word banquet, and you can see all of the different Bible translations and how it handles it. Now, notice that it says, 13% difference,
right.
4% difference, 29% difference. What that means is based on what your preferred Bible is, it's saying the percent difference of how it's different from your preferred translation.
Got you.
Right.
That's what I was
So
gonna
that's why
ask.
it's important. What's that?
I said that's what I was gonna ask. What's the percent different, like from the your preferred text or from the original? That's a good distinction you just made. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's important to when you choose that preferred Bible, because again, everything is going to be kind of centered around that. Now, when I keep going down, I see word info. Now I'm into the Hebrew in this case for that word banquet. So I can click it.
Mishte.
All right. So now it's going to give me a definition of it. It's going to tell me the morphology of the word, the concordance, and all that. And I got all of that by resting my cursor on the word banquet.
Wow.
All right. So I'm going to pause really quick just to show you how we got here. We were on the home page. I typed in Job. I clicked passage guide layout, and all of this information pulled up. All right. So I don't need to leave Logos to do anything because it's all, right here. Now, let's say I'm reading the text. Now I'm looking at the commentary. And let's say I am maybe taking some notes for a Bible study that I'm giving, or if I'm a preacher or a teacher, I'm writing a sermon, and I want to take some information out of Logos and put it in a Word document. Let's just say that that's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to take some information from this Bible knowledge commentary. I'm just going to click and drag. I'm just randomly picking some now just for demonstration's sake. So I click, drag, I let go. Then I'm going to choose copy. Okay. So now I'm going to pull up a blank Word document. You see that? Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste, right? You see that, right? So nothing special about that. All I did was take some text, copy and paste it into Word. But what I'm going to show you next is the special part. The special part is when I scroll down, Logos automatically cites the reference for me. So the footnote is automatically done. Now, I don't know the denomination of your crowd, but when I go in front of Pentecostal crowds and I show them the copy and paste and the footnote, man, they flipping and all kind of stuff going on because they know, bro, how much time has been saved by doing a footnote. It automatically cites the references for you. Okay, so that's with anything in Logos that you do, it automatically cites the reference. So now I'm going to pop on over to the left-hand side of the screen and see what else Logos gives me to help me study Job 1. First, it gives me a list of commentaries. Okay, you see a bunch. So again, depending on which version of Logos you have, whether or not you have the pastor's version, let's say, or the ministry version, so that determines like how many you get. You get a lot no matter which one you go with, and I'll get into that a little bit later.
Right.
But so under these commentaries, the first option that it gives me, it says it's priority. What that means is Logos is going to give me the commentaries that I've set as my top priority ones first, just like setting a preferred Bible, I can set my preferred commentaries. And after that, it's going to give me a list of recommendations or recommended commentaries based on what I'm studying. So Logos does that for you. The next thing I can do is click on series. Now Logos is taking all of my commentary series or series sets and putting them all together. Or I can click on author, and Logos is going to take all of my commentaries and arrange them in alphabetical order. So let's say this Chad Brand, as an example, I want to see his commentary. I click that. That's the Apologetic Study Bible. And if I want to see what it has to say, I click it, and then it's going to open up in the, it opened up on the other part of the screen. So let me go back here. All right, so that's how it opens up. Now I can go to denomination. Logos takes all of my commentaries and arranges them based on denomination. So if I want to look at all of my Anglican commentaries, there we go. If I want to look at my Methodist commentaries, there it is. Presbyterian, Reformed, etc. All right there. Now, the next one I can go to is type, right? If I click type, it's saying what type of commentary do you want to look at to help you study Job 1? I can look at, let's say, exegetical commentaries. They're all right here. Or my expositional commentaries. They're all right here. My homiletical comment, all right. So they're all open up at the same time, and all I have to do is click on it. Now, here's this last one. Man, Logos was really showing off with this one. So this is where I can study my commentaries based on the era in which they were written. So if I want to do a study on the contemporary commentaries, meaning 1960 to the present, here they are. My modern commentaries are here. Reformation, Nicene, etc. So Logos just puts it all out there in front of you. You start with the text, then you can go to your commentaries, and then you can look at which types of commentaries you want to look at. And there you have it in terms of text and commentaries. Now, I'm just going to kind of walk through things from top to bottom on the left-hand side here. So here are all of my parallel passages to Job 1. Here are all of my cross references using a tool that you all are probably very familiar with, the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. It's all right here, cross references, rest my cursor, there it is. Or if I click on it, it's going to open up in my, guess what, preferred Bible, preferred translation, right? And now I'm at the important passages section. This is where Logos is saying, all right, we're ready to study Job. I've combed through all of your resources in Logos, and Logos has picked out all of the passages that it feels are important for you to study to help you study the book of Job. And you can see here, it has all the language studies, all the morphologies, all of the background information you need in it. So it's giving you the most important scriptures that you would want to look at. And then after that, it gives you the important words, right? So let's say you come to a text and you're like, well, man, this, let's say it may be a little bit confusing. I don't know what words I should focus in on the most because maybe you might be new to a particular text. Well, Logos tells you these are the most important words you would want to zero in on or hone in on when you study this particular text in Job. Now, after that, this is where we get more atlases, we get biblical places, we get biblical people. So you notice these family trees here. So it gives you all of that at the click of a button. So you can do the whole family tree of Job, different illustrations of what these folks could have looked like. Then we got different biblical things. So these are the physical things that are involved in the book of Job to help you study it. Then once we finish with the physical things, we have events. So these are all of the events that have occurred or are that occurred in the book of Job. Then we have outlines. So Logos takes all of the text and outlines it automatically for you. Not one, not two, not three, but multiple outlines. You can rest your cursor on it and it gives you kind of a snapshot of what that's going to be. Then we have literary typing, figurative language, cultural concepts, which is one of my favorite ones because it helps us read the text in context, right? So we don't want to look at the text from the lens of the year 2021. We want to look at it from how the original author intended it. Right. So we need some help with the culture of that time. That's cultural concepts. And that's what you get automatically every time you open up the passage guide. So there's a lot more to this. I'm going to pause just to see if you have any questions about what I've talked about so far, anything I can go over again. I'll just take a pause if that's okay to see if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, that's good. Guys, send the questions in if you have any questions about what's been presented so far. So far, I see one question here. How often is Logos updated?
Yeah, good question. So it's updated. The kind of features of Logos are updated, a couple times a week. But in terms of like I'm on Logos 9 now, like when will Logos 10 come out or when did 9 come out in relation to 8? So if we're talking about that kind of update, we average about once every 2 years, a new version. So again, 9 came out in October. So we're if that timeline holds true, we'll be looking at not until October of 2022 before Logos 10 comes out. I will tell you, I do know they're working on. I just can't say a whole
Yeah,
lot,
of
but
course.
I do know they're working on Logos 10 right now.
And so it is logos, not logos.
Oh man, I get that every time. So, you ask some of the scholars on the team, and they're like, "Oh, it's logos."
Right.
That's how you say it. I always said logos,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes I go back and forth until my wife got on my case one day. She was in the other room listening to a Zoom, and she's like, "Look, can you just pick one? Are you going to
Right.
do logos or logos?" Right. So I just went back to logos, so I wouldn't have to have her get on my case. But yeah, so
Okay,
it depends
cool.
who you talk to.
Yeah. No, I hear that kind of jabbed out in these circles, so yeah, that's helpful. But it seems like, man, seems like people are enjoying it. I'm seeing good comments as far as, man, people saying they're enjoying it. A long time person of Logos says he's had Logos since version 6, and so it seems to be helpful in many people's studies. So yeah, man, I'm enjoying this because now it gives you a framework on how you can go about studying a particular passage or a concept or even just a word, that you're like, wow, I do not know what this means. So this has been helpful.
Good, good. And I see Redeem has had it since 6.
Yep.
Hopefully Redeem has upgraded to 9.
Yes.
If not, we'll work on that.
Right.
Right? And since you mentioned words, I'm going to come back to the passage God lay out in just a second, but I did want to show you something as it relates to studying words in logos. So what I've done here on this screen, on the left hand side, it's the CSB, it's the text, it's the Bible. On the right hand side, I've opened up a feature called the Bible Word Study feature. Let me spread this out, make it a little more symmetrical. All right, so this is the Bible Word Study feature is a feature in which you can type here. You can type it in Greek or Hebrew or the default keyboard. Right, so it's that sophisticated. You can do that. I'm gonna leave it at the default keyboard right now. But what I've done here, I've linked these two together so that I could do what I'm about to show you. Now, watch this. So I'm going to read the text. So I'm still in Job, as you can see. And let's say, let's stick with verse 4. We looked at that before. It says his sons used to take turns having banquets at their homes, right? And let's say I want to go and says they would send an invitation. So let's say I want to look at that word invitation to do a Bible word study on it. I'm just going to click it. Look at what happens on the right.
Mm.
Logos will take every word that I click on the left and give me a full word study on the right. So what you're seeing here's a lemma at the top, this first section right here. It says call, shout, name, appoint, summon, proclaim, announce, recite, read, etc. So it's saying that this word is in the Bible 731 times. You see, I'm circling over here. That's where I get
Yep.
that from. 731 times, right? And I can click more, and it's going to give me other resources that I have in Logos, in lexicons and whatnot. So again, your list may be longer or shorter depending on which package you have, right? And so someone just asked, how many times? How do I find out how many times a particular word is used in the book? There it is, right there.
Yep.
All right. So now I scroll down. The NASB, it uses it 731 times, right? So here are the different ways this word is used. Name, call, called, calling. You see this little color palette here. It separates out. So if I want to see how that word is used, name or named, right? I'm going to rest my cursor. That pulls up. Now it's just looking at the word name, right? And in the different instances in which that word is used like that. Or I can go to call, right? And all I'm was resting my cursor. I'm not doing anything. That's all I'm doing, just circling and resting my cursor. But let's say I wanted to look at specific instances in the text of this word. I can click this middle section. And then what it's going to do is give me the times that it's used the word call 448 times out of the total, which was 731. 448 times is used as the word call. And not only that, but it's giving me the specific instances in the Bible in which that word is used as call or called, right?
Okay.
And 400 some odd times. So you can see this is quite a bit. So let me scroll down and get past this, right? And then I can get to the word proclaim. That word is used proclaim 50 out of the 731 times. So I can scroll and see it's highlighted right there in kind of yellow. the word proclaim. I can continue down some more because I would pick the word that has 731 instances of being used.
Right.
Right. And then here's the root word, the senses of the word. Now, I like using the senses. So if I look at, let's say, that word being used as to summon, that's 139 out of 736 in the ESV, that is. Now, if I click it, it's going to say to a verb to authoritatively communicate a demand for the presence or participation of. Now, it's going to give me the specific instances in which that word is used to mean to summon.
Mm.
All right. So, and I can go on and on and on about this, but again, my point is, I have the Bible word study feature. I have it side by side with the Bible. I've linked the two together, and now all I have to do is come over here as I read the biblical text, and I get to a word that I'm not sure about. I just click it. I clicked on the word present, and there we go. It's all there. All just clicking. That's all I'm doing is just clicking in this. So that's how you do a more in-depth word study. And of course, it has the pronunciations as well. Now, let me go back to the passage study layout. All right. Still on the left-hand side. So biblical theology, systematic theology. Now, Chris, are you a fan of, you use a lot of systematic theology books?
Absolutely. I like systematic theology. I like biblical theology. You're speaking right in my lane right here.
So I won't put you on the spot here, but if you can, how big are a lot of your systematic theology? They're small books, big books. What
Oh
would you
no,
say? Big books.
they're very big.
They're very big. Okay, right.
Yes.
So I mentioned that because as I look at the systematic theology section, and I have more, I'm using the diamond version of Logos too, by the way. This is the pastor's version of Logos.
Okay.
And so it's going to give me obviously a little bit more. But it has all of these systematic theology, these huge books, as you just pointed out, and all of them have automatically been opened up to the appropriate words in text that I'm studying right now. So let's say I want to do a systematic study and I'm looking at this systematic theology section and I see like a word like Christology. And I rest my cursor on it. It tells me it's the study of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say ecclesiology, all right, study of the church. I can click on these arrows. Let's say pneumatology. I click that. Not only is it going to open up my systematic theology books, but it's also going to give me denominational views as well.
Mm.
So here's a Lutheran view of pneumatology, or the study of the Holy Spirit. Ecclesiology, here's the Baptist version. Theologians, hamartiology, right? The Baptist version, ecclesia. So it has opened not one of those big books, to use your word, not one of those big books, but multiple of those big books, and all pulled up. Now, let me pause here and say that if you have Logos, you can get Logos on the desktop, which is what we're seeing right now, but you could also get it on your phone.
Yep.
So all of these, again, I like the way you said that big books are all on your phone. And not just one, but multiple books are all on your phone or your tablet. So then we get down to confessional documents. We can even get sermons, right? So we're studying Job 1. I have Charles Spurgeon 5 sermons. I can click that. Here are 5 sermons that Charles Spurgeon preached on Job 1. All right here. Now, I'm going to rest my cursor to give you just a sneak peek, or I can click it and it'll open up another window and I can actually read those sermons of Charles Spurgeon. Here's some from John Calvin, John Piper, Jonathan Edwards, Jim Wilson, or whomever. All right here. Now I can get more information about Job 3 by reading some previous sermons, right? So faith life sermons. Now this is really cool. Once let's say you create a sermon in Logos, and if there's time and if someone wants me to show you that, I will do that. I'll show you how you can create sermons in Logos. I'm talking the actual transcript of your sermon in Logos, and you can preach that sermon, let's say from your iPad or a laptop. I mean, it's the full transcript, right? And so what you could do is once you finish creating that sermon, you can click a button and share it to your Faith Life account. Now, when you do that, it's optional. It doesn't automatically do it, but it's optional. But once you do that, now that makes your sermon readable or accessible for anyone who has Logos. So what that means is these sermons right here, these are sermons that users of Logos have created, that they voluntarily shared, so that I have access to it. Now I can see how some other pastors or preachers or teachers or Bible students have preached a sermon on Job. That's all right there instantly. Now I get different themes. I get thematic outlines. I'm gonna take a moment to show this here. So here are all of the themes that are within Job 1. Now, one of the themes is affluence. You can see it's in alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to click affluence. So here is the thematic outline of the theme of affluence in Job 1. Now, you see it has a synopsis and the titles and the scriptures here. Now, if I rest my cursor on the scripture, it's going to pop up, or I can click on it, it's going to open up. That's important. It gives me the scriptural reference. I can hover on it and it's going to give it to me, and I can open it up in another window. I'm going to show you why that's important in a second. Right. So here are all of, man, the outline is amazing, all on affluence. But watch this. I can take that, because let's say I'm teaching at a Wednesday night Bible study or a YouTube channel, and I want to give everyone an outline on the subject of affluence. So over here, it gives me options. Where do you want to copy it to? So by default, it's doing Microsoft Word. Now I'm going to click copy. And when I click copy, watch this. You can see my Microsoft Word lighten up, because all I did was click copy. It took that thematic outline of affluence and put it in a Word document. Now, if you remember, I hovered over the text and it just popped out. It didn't, you didn't see it at that moment. But here, when you copy it into Word, it gives you the full text right here. Wow. So now, bro, you print this out and you give it, or you email it to someone. Now you ready to preach and teach, and people are following along. They have all your scriptures all right there. So that's the thematic outline that Logos puts together for you automatically. Now I'm scrolling down. You have more topics, more illustrations. Man, Logos were even. Now the people at Faith Life, I'll say, we're really showing off with this one. Here, it gives me Christian songs or contemporary hymns in which the words correspond with the text that I'm studying. So I'm studying Job. So here's a song. Now you can see, if you can look at it, it may be too small, but that's sheet music. Right. So I can click that and it's going to give me the actual sheet music. Now I can give my praise and worship team, say, hey, I'm preaching on Job 1. How about some songs that coincide with Job 1? I can click another button. It's going to take me to YouTube and give me the ability to see how to play this thing on a keyboard or a guitar, and walk me through with a tutorial how to do that. Yeah. All for the click of a button. How did we get here? We type Job at the top. We click the passage guide layout, and all of this information automatically pulled up. Right. Wow. And it's more and more. I'll just go ahead and stop with the passage guide layout here, because I want to show you some other things before the hour is up. But that's all of that is one feature in Logos, and that's the passage study layout.
Okay, real quick question. So you went to the word invitation, right? And you saw that word was used 731 times throughout the Bible, the CSB version. Can you see? Hey, I want to see how many. We're preaching through the book of Genesis. I just want to see only Genesis. You know, the times it's used in Genesis. Could you do that?
You can. Let me go back to that screen. I still have it open. Right. And so where it says here, and I forgot what the word I clicked, I think it was invitation is the word I clicked on. Right. So you can see here it says 44. Right. And if I move my cursor to the right, interesting enough, Genesis 4 times. Right. There you go. So there it is. So I click it, and there you go. And so here's the in the NASB count per book. So how many times it's there, and you can click. And so, yeah, you can get all of that information just by clicking on that particular word. So let me go back to it here now. So yeah, you can do. So as I scroll from left to right, you can see all the instances of that word.
Okay. Right. Well, appreciate that. Someone asked, so I thought it'd be good. So appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah. Any other questions about the passage study layout?
I don't see any questions. No, I'm enjoying it, man. This is good. This is good.
Good. All right. Good. Now I'm going to show you one that's. So I'm going to pull out of the passage guide layout. Now I'm going to show you one of what we call interactives. Now Logos has a lot of interactives, and I won't say a lot. Should be more specific. I want to say it's like 36 or something like that. Interactives, which are ways that you can study the Bible in an even more interactive way. And you're probably like, well, man, this has been pretty interactive already. But I want to show you one. This is probably my favorite one. It's called the Weights and Measures Converter. Okay. Now you see this, it's a bunch of words and numbers. It's a chart. All right. That's good. I mean, I'm not even going to go into the chart part. That's good. But this is what I want to show you. You're reading the text. In the text, you come to a word that says something like cubits. Right. Now, I don't know about you. I don't use the word cubits on a daily basis. You know, it's not like I'm sitting at the dinner table with my wife and my family, and the word cubits just comes out. Right. It doesn't happen, right? You don't use those words every day. But I get to the text, but I don't have a reference point. That's just me. I don't have a reference point, you know, so I can come here to the Weights and Measures Converter, and I'm going to type in 100 cubits, 100 CUB, and it's going to pull it up. And I'm going to click it. Logo says, okay, I got you. 100 cubits is about 10 and a half mid-sized sedans, or about 4 city buses, or about 3.5 humpback whales, a little more than 2 semi trucks, or about the size of a 757 airline jet. So now you say, oh, 100 cubits, oh, that's about the size of a 757. Right. Now I have instant reference point. Now I can work with that. Yeah. Now I can do it. So that's just a little fun one of the interactive features that we like to show people. And I'm going to show you another interactive, and this is let me close this up here. This is the Bible Books Explorer. Now, this is new to Logos 9. The other feature I just showed you is you can get that in an earlier version. Now, this is new in 9, the Bible Books Explorer. So if you could focus on the left-hand side of the screen, this is an interactive where you can study and get a ton of information about the books themselves. Now, you can see here Genesis down to Revelation. Now, here's a color-coded legend, if you will. It tells if it's a narrative, expository, behavioral, procedural, and so on, right? And then on the left-hand side, if you want to, filter it down a little bit more, if you want to look at like the Pauline letters, you click Pauline, and then there you go. There's 13 letters right there. Then you can look at how they're ranked. You can look at how many words each one has, chapters, verses, all that. Or, and let me go back. This is Roman. Let me click it. So this is Romans. Now it's going to tell me a ton of information about Romans. What kind of book is it or letter is it? It's a church epistle. Subkind, Pauline, major letters. Author was Paul. The recipients, in other words, who is it written to? The Romans, the church at Rome. Language is Greek, biblical era, and so on. As I continue on, it says the composition date. So, a lot of resources have, a little bit of some differences in when they think it was written. Right. All here. Now some stats, 16 chapters, 430 verses, 7,055 words, 1,056 lemmas, and so on. Right. So that gives you information about the Bible, each book in the Bible. Or I can go to a timeline and show me, when. Now I'm still on. Let me clear this up because I'm still on the Pauline. Let me just go to all. Okay, so here are all the books, timeline in which they occurred. Right now, this feature, the intertext feature. This is a feature where you look at the references in the New Testament to the Old Testament. So it shows you instances in which Old Testament books were referred to in the New Testament. So what does this fancy globe thing do? So let's say the Psalm as an example. I rest my cursor on the Psalms. It tells me that the Psalms are referred to in 1 Peter, Hebrew, Ephesians, 2 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, Romans, Acts, and so on. Right. So it tells me right there, what are the New Testament books that refer to Psalms? Now I can click it. And when I click it, look on the right-hand side. It gives me the specific books in the New Testament that refer to the Psalms. Now, this one is citation because it gives me options. So this is where that Old Testament text was cited specifically. Or I can click quotation, and this is where it was actually quoted. right? I can click allusion, and this is where that Old Testament text was alluded to. And echo was just more of a generic one of kind of how it's somewhat referred to in the New Testament. So
Mm.
that's the intertext feature. And you have all these different stats if you want more stats of the Bible and frequency of the word use. And you can do a list of so the same thing, but in a list form. So that's the Bible Books Explorer. So when we talk about studying the Bible in a more in-depth way, I think you can see now what we're talking about. All these tools are at your disposal to be able to pull this information up at the click of a button. So again, I'll pause. Any other questions come up since then, or
No, man, I really like that the circle graphic where it has the allusions, the citations. That's very helpful. For someone like me, is like, you see how interactive the scripture is, or the New Testament is with the Old Testament. And so for people preaching through New Testament, you can always allude back to, well, the apostles were referring always back to the Old Testament. And so, man, I love that because I'm a fan of like biblical theology, and
mm,
how the Bible is telling one redemptive story, all about and so I get excited about something as little as that. So I'm
yeah,
sure I'm sure my listeners will be like, man, that was cool. I like that.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. And then this is, and we're just because we only have an hour. I'm just barely skimming the
Hmm.
surface of it, man. Um, So it's we'll have about 10 till 8. Let me show one other feature if I
Yeah,
could, and then I'll kind of get
absolutely,
into how people can get it.
absolutely.
So I don't know if we have any pastors, preachers, or counselors on the Zoom, but this features it came out in Logos 9, and it's called the Counseling Guide. And anyone that does any types of biblical counseling or counseling in general, they've seen this and like, look, I need logos just for this right here. What it does is, as you're counseling someone, and I always like to say also mentors too, because people might say, well, I'm not a counselor, and I don't know if I can really use that. But my wife and I actually a couple of weeks ago, some friends of ours that we lead a community group at my church, and they were going through some things, and my wife was like, I think we should pull out the counseling guide. And I'm like, oh, there we go. We got practical use right there.
There you go.
So what happens is you pull it up, and it's asking you, okay, what are you going to be counseling that person with? So let's say it's marriage, right? So I just type in the word marriage, and it gives me some options. Let's say someone's having conflict in their marriage. So I'm going to click that. So logo says, okay, let me get you ready to go help that couple out because they're having conflict in marriage. So here are the various counseling topics, right? Then you get a summary of what that is. I mean, not that we really need an actual summary to tell us what conflict in marriage is, but
Right.
logo gives it to us, right? So it tells you that, right? And then it says here's some related counseling topics, right? And then you have different lectures, monographs. I'm going to open that just a second. Different books you can buy. It recommends that you buy. But let's open up one of these monographs in conflicts in marriage. Let me blow this up, make it a little bit bigger. All right, so here we go. It's going to give me some steps to work with that person in that. And it says step one, portraits. What that means is more like case studies of,
Mm.
here's some examples of what conflict in marriage looks like. So you can kind of be prepared for it. Second one, definitions and key thoughts, right? It helps you get some key definitions so you can be, again, really prepared. Then we have some questions that you can ask the person that they're going through. Do I focus on how much I've been wrong? Have others challenged my quote need to always be right or my sense of entitlement? So Logos gives you even the questions to ask the people. And now it has a little box and you can type in your answers to that, and that gets saved in a note file. So now we have an assessment interview. So this is what you can ask them when they come in. That first one was kind of like a pre-question type thing. Now, assessment interview, they're in your home, your office, or at Starbucks or whatever. And now you're asking them these questions. Again, it's giving you the questions to help you get to the core of what's going on in that particular issue. And now you type in the answers. And again, that goes into a note file. Step 4, wise counsel. It's giving you counsel on giving them wise counsel.
Mm.
5 action steps. rules for fighting fair. Stay calm. Step 2, address one conflict at a time. So as you can see, man, it's taking you step by step and helping you mentor that person, counsel that person. Right? And then you get down to biblical insights, right? What does the word say about what you guys are going through? And then finally, prayer starters. So it helps you lead them in prayer, and then some additional resources as well. So I wanted to kind of sneak that in. The counseling guide, man, has been a tremendous help for people who help other people, as we should all be discipling folks.
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do now, if it's okay, is just kind of talk to people through how you can get logos.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely.
We talked a lot about it. I'm going to go into pricing, how you can get it, and which one should you get, and so on. Now, first of all, man, because we partnered up with you and we're giving a 30% discount for your audience.
Yeah.
Right? Now, people are like, man, he probably just saying that. Well, I tell you what, you go to logos.com right now, and the prices are going to be more expensive than what you're seeing here. So this is a legit discount geared towards this particular.
Y'all hear that, guys? By being subscribed to me, you guys get 30% off. So take advantage of that deal by you being here listening, getting 30% off right now.
You got it, and it's for and I'm gonna the discount ends on the 31st, and I'm gonna give you a website to go to get it. And you go down the first, I mean, how your feelings going to be hurt because that website is going to be shut down on the first.
Yeah,
it's good through the 31st, right? So we also have a monthly payment option because let's be honest, Logos is not cheap. It is not. There's no other way around. It's you get what you pay for.
Right.
But we do have a monthly payment option. So you don't have to pay for it all at once. You break it down in monthly payments, right? There's no credit check or anything like that. You just give a credit or debit card. We take it out in equal payments. Your first one would start, let's say, today or tomorrow, and then every 30 days, it just automatically comes off your credit or your debit card. So here are the different options. Bronze all the way to portfolio. And I'm going to walk you quickly through what these mean. Bronze, I will tell you, is someone who's just kind of starting out in Bible study. It's like, yeah, I heard you talk about this Greek and this Hebrew and these preaching and counseling tools. I don't do all of that. I just need a good tool. Give me a couple of commentaries. Give me a couple of Bibles. Most of the features that you saw tonight. If that's you, bronze is where you would want to be. Silver is the next step up from that. Now, once you go to silver and above, you get all of the features that you've seen tonight. You get all of the features that Logos has to offer, right? With silver and above. That's the counseling guide, all the interactives, all of that. So silver is for someone who wants the Greek, the Hebrew, all the different commentaries. You're not preaching and teaching with silver, so it's not going to give you the preaching and teaching resources. It's going to give you the features, but not as many resources. Gold is for someone who's in ministry, right? You lead Bible study, you preach occasionally, you lead men's Bible study, women's Bible study, Sunday school, Wednesday night Bible class. If you're a deacon, you're anything like that, that's gold. Platinum is the seminary student. Or if you just love studying more from a more academic standpoint, platinum is where you would want to be. Diamond, that's the pastor's version. That's someone who's a full-time pastor, gives you all the resources to equip you to do that. And portfolio, that's where you're working on your doctorate. All right, so here's the site. It's logos.com/KDubtru. Kdubtru. Logos.com/KDubtru. If you don't go to that website, you will not get the 30% discount. Yeah. We've set this website up specifically for this audience, and that's where you go. So let me show you so you won't think I'm making it up. There it is. So if you go to logos.com/KDubtru, here are all of the different options. I'm going to talk about the prices in just a second, but this is what that site looks like when you go there. All right, so let me come back. Logos.com/KDubtru. Now, bronze, if this is you, if you were to buy these in print, right, go to Barnes and Nobles or whatever and buy the actual hard copies of this, it would be almost $7,000. If our regular price for bronze is $629, but with the 30% discount is $441. Or monthly, $38 a month for 14 months. So you can easily get bronze. Right. If silver is where you belong, it's $700 with the 30% discount, or $56 for 14 months. If gold is where you are, it's $1,085 or $74 a month. Platinum, again, the academic one. So the studious folks for this one,
Mhm.
more studious, I should say,
Right.
1505 or 82 a month for 20 months. And for the pastors in the room, if you're a pastor, bishop, what have you, is 2415 or 107 a month. Now, you can get logos on all of your devices. So you're not restricted to how many devices you put it on. It works with Mac, Windows, iOS, Android, whatever your platform is, it works and it all syncs together. So if you have a MacBook, but you have an Android phone, your logos, it all syncs together. So all the notes that you take, all the highlighting, it all syncs together automatically. Now, here are the benefits. There's a lifetime license. So once you purchase logos, you own it forever. You always own the license. We just ask that you don't share that license with anyone else. So in other words, don't give your buddy at church your login and then they logging in the logos, because we always like to jokingly say the Bible says once you become married, you become one. And we don't mess with that. So you can share it with your spouse, right? So spouses are good. You just can't share that login with your buddy. So
Absolutely.
there's a 30-day money back guarantee. And we have free online training and support. As I mentioned, I just barely skimmed the surface. And,
Yeah.
and there's so much more to it. And we offer free online training and support at logos.com/pro. Logos.com/pro. So again, it's logos.com/KDubTRU. And the discount ends this Friday at midnight. So, brother K-Dub, that's what I got for you tonight, man. So hopefully it was helpful.
Yeah, man, very helpful. Man, I know there's some ladies watching this who didn't get their husbands anything for Christmas. Time is still, you still got time. You got 4 days to get your husband something good. Or, hey, or husbands, get your wife something good, to help
There
her
you
out
go.
in her
I'm gonna leave
studies.
this up here. So
That's right. And so, man, so helpful. Like I said, just skimming the surface on all these things, but still helpful in giving someone a ground foundational view on just how to use this in-depth software. And I like that it's not just like a couple things in there and it's like, oh, okay, that really wasn't worth buying. I could have
right.
just got me a commentary and got that from Logos, but no, this is a library full of stuff, to hey, if you're out and about and talking with the boys on theology, and you're like, hey, this is, I could just pull up from my phone and boom 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 boom. I don't have to carry my whole library with me. That's good. I enjoy that and I like that. And so I'll definitely be sharing that link on social media so other people who didn't be able to join this video will be able to take opportunity on that really good deal. Really good deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do see one of the questions that I could answer
Yeah.
really quick. It
Yep.
says, how do you make the passage guide your default when you search a text?
Yep.
Well, when you put that text in at the top, it's going to give you options. And at the top, it's always going to have the passage guide first. So you don't have to worry about changing any settings or anything for that. It's automatically going, you just click on passage guide layout. The other question I get a lot is, I have a previous version logo. So I have logo 6, 7, 8.
Mm.
What's my cost for 9? Well, get this. We have something called dynamic pricing. And what that means is whatever you paid for your logo 7, let's say it was $1,000, hypothetically. You paid $1,000 for logo 7. 7 gold, let's say. 9 gold, I forgot what the price was, but just for demonstration, let's say it was $1,200. You would only pay that $200. So you just pay the difference between what you paid originally and what the new version costs. Same thing as if you had silver and you wanted to upgrade to portfolio. You just pay the difference between what you've already paid and what the new one costs. Okay. So you're not going to pay for resources again that you already have. It's not like the iPhone. Like when I got this new iPhone a couple weeks ago, and I had to pay for that thing all over again. So it's not like that. You get credit for what you already have, and that's how the upgrade works.
That's good. That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about from gold to silver or silver to platinum. It's just the difference. You don't have to pay for the platinum all over again, like you said with the iPhone. So that's good. That's helpful. So yeah. So I like I said, I hope people will take. I like I said, I just got the software myself. I've been skimming through it just these last few days. Got to check it out just a little bit today. Like so, as much as you guys probably like, man, this is good. This was probably like me nerding out more so than my audience. So, so like I said, I saw my pastor drop in here earlier, and so I'm gonna be elbowing him. Hey man, if he doesn't have it, he probably does. But
Yeah.
if he doesn't, I'll be like, hey man, you need to get it. Take that deal, man. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, man. Like I said, if there's anything else you need to add, last words, feel free.
Yeah, I'll just I'm gonna put. I don't know if I have the ability to put anything in the chat, but my email address. If you have any additional questions, and it's as simple as if I give it to you, can you put it in the
I'll
chat?
type it right now.
All right, it's Chauncey. It's ChaunceyDot almond, just like the nut, ALLMOND, nut, but two L's
Okay.
at logos.com. It's either at faithlife.com or logos.com. They all come the same place. So Chauncey.almond at faithlife.com or at logos.com.
Okay. Cool. All right, just drop that in the chat. So, man, guys, if you have any questions, make sure to email Chauncey. He would love to answer them for you, help you out. Like I said, it's been so helpful today. I appreciate you coming on and teaching us about the software, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Anytime,
Absolutely.
anytime, anytime.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, man. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Like I said, guys, make sure you get it. If you have any questions, you guys can email me. Mine is in the description below. You guys know how we do it at All Things Theology. Till the next time, grace and peace.